This is Jim Williams with the Hurricane City Tropical Update for October 24th, 11:30 a.m. Let's start out with the graphical tropical weather outlook from the National Hurricane Center. We have Hurricane Richard now exiting near the Bay Islands, Honduras, and heading towards Belize. It should be there by nightfall tonight. And we have Invest 90L in the East Atlantic northwest of the Cape Verde Islands. This, interestingly, though, some models want to try to develop this and then eventually recurve it out. The next named storm is Sherry, by the way. And we have another system down here that some models, including the GFS, want to take near Bermuda and then recurve that on out. So we're not done yet. We could have another named storm or two before the season's done. But let's get to the specifics on Hurricane Richard this morning, and let's put this in motion. And you'll see that it approached the island of, actually let's back it up a little bit. The tropical storm force winds approached the island of Guanaja here north of Honduras early this morning around 5 a.m. And they reported wind gusts there 46 miles an hour out of the west-southwest, gusting to 58. And then the next position, the system came right near the island of Raton, this long island right here, and was a little bit stronger at that time, about 70 miles an hour as it passed off to the north, and then shortly thereafter it became a hurricane. But they reported at 9:15 a.m. in the island of Raton, a private weather station reported south-southwest winds at 32 gusting to 61. And now it is a hurricane. There it is. There's the red donut indicating hurricane status. And what's going to happen in the future? Well, let's take a look. Going out this afternoon, the out islands of Belize start getting affected by tropical storm force winds, and then the hurricane force winds arrive in the Ambergris Caye and areas like that starting around 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. And then the hurricane force winds arrive in Belize City starting around 6 p.m. tonight, going into the evening, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. It's still a hurricane, and then it winds down over northern Belize. So there's a population of about 85,000 people that are going to be affected by this Category 1. Could be up to Category 2 strength by the time it gets there. We'll have to see about that. And then the system winds down inland and basically dissipates over the next couple of days. Let's take a look at the recon fixes. Let me zoom in on these. And you see that this morning with the hurricane hunters, they're still flying around out there, but it was around 7:30 this morning. They had a 990 millibar hurricane out, a tropical storm rather, 70 knot winds, and there was a big difference between the inner and the outer eye wall temperatures, and that's an indication of a strengthening system. And here we are north of the island of Raton, and we have 991 millibars, still around 70 miles an hour at the surface. And then the last fix was from about 2 hours later, and we have 74 knot winds. That's 85 miles an hour. So it became a hurricane here well north of the island of Raton. And if you extrapolate this, and you always hate to do that, but this would take it generally right towards Belize City. And let's hope this doesn't strengthen too much more before it gets to Belize City. Here's a radar of our system. And this is using the page, when you click on Belize next to the tracking chart, it opens up our page with all the options from Belize City. And one of them is the radar. There's our current radar fix. You have radars, radio stations, cams, everything you would need from Belize this evening as this system moves in to keep track of what's going on there. So this system is definitely moving in. And let's take a real quick look at a floater loop of our system and look at this well-organized hurricane. It's strengthening. You know, this country has a rich hurricane history of major hurricanes pounding in there that develop very quickly north of Honduras and move into Belize. They've been hit by a lot of major hurricanes. All right, here's the next image we have. This is the island of Raton. This is the airport in Raton. And this is the area that was getting the wind gusts to about 60 miles an hour earlier this morning. And again, this is hilly terrain out here, but these coastal areas, these are probably east-facing beaches, so they had southerly winds coming across like this the whole morning, and southwest winds like this. So that's basically what they were dealing with early this morning. Here's a webcam from Ambergris Caye, which is right offshore Belize City. Trees whipping around out here. There's rain on the lens. It's going to get worse as the day goes on. Again, this cam and a few other streaming webcams can be found on the drop-down menu of that page I just showed you on from Belize. Here's a map of Belize, and again, most of the populated areas are right up in here around Belize City, and this is where the impact is going to be direct from the northern eye wall. And all the tan areas indicate flat, swampy surface, And the elevated areas are in green here. These are anywhere from 500 to 2,000 foot elevations over here. So the hurricane's supposed to come in like this, so most of the heavy rain in areas, and of course they'll get some rain up in here in the hilly areas, but most of the high winds will be up in here around Belize City. So hope the people there are prepared for hurricane conditions tonight. Here's a picture of the coast areas of Belize City, and you can see very well constructed buildings. Again, they've been hit by a lot of majors in the past, so this area is no stranger to hurricanes, and they have a pretty strict building code. But a lot of buildings that are stacked there, so could be a lot of damage there tonight. The area was last affected actually on September 25th. Tropical Storm Matthew moved in here and weakened down to tropical depression status, so they've had a little bit of activity this year. They also had to deal with the first-name storm Alex this year. They do have a lot of media down there to keep track of what's going on, lots of radio, TV stations. They even get the Weather Channel down there, so the people down there are well informed of what's happening in Belize City as the night goes on. All right, here are the models taking it through Central America. They want to poke it into the Bay of Campeche here, but the wind shear is going to be so ridiculously high, and this sea surface temperature is cold, that this system is, and if there's anything left of it at all, it's going to meander down here and not really do very much. Now, it's not going to move north because there's going to be a big high pressure ridge like that's shaped like this, and anything that tries to move north is just going to get shoved back to the south, so nothing's going to move north in the northern Gulf of Mexico. At least that's the thinking at this time. And again, here's the wind shear 48 hours from now. Very strong southwesterly and westerly wind shear in the Gulf of Mexico. This system won't have a chance when it gets into the Gulf. And here's the sea surface temperatures. Notice the difference. Mid-80s right off the coast of Belize and Honduras. Low 80s, upper 70s in the southern Bay of Campeche, so it's not really temperature-wise ideal either. All right, that's it for now. We'll keep track of the system. And remember, on HurricaneCity.tv this afternoon, we'll start media coverage from the affected areas in Belize City. HurricaneCity.tv, check that out all through the night, and we'll have the latest on the damage and reports coming out from radio in Belize City and Hurricane WatchNet and anything else we can put up on HurricaneCity.tv. That's it for now. Thank you again for visiting Hurricane City.